Hello everybody, welcome to the weekly bump. Sorry for not getting this out to you yesterday. There was construction in the apartment next to me, so I could not record with all the banging going on. But anyway, nonetheless, here we are. Hopefully it will stay quiet for this reading. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So we have 3 piles this week, pile 1, 2, and 3. We have a rose quartz, selenite, and a green aura quartz. For those of you who are new to pick a cards, what you do is you just take a moment, take a breath, and hopefully feel called or drawn toward one pile or the other. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily feel a connection, and that's perfectly fine. I do always say there's a little bit of karma or destiny, if you will, that comes through with these readings. So feel free to just randomly pick one if you're not feeling so called. You're also welcome to ask a question because you might just get your answer as well. Feel free to pause the video if you want to. Timestamps will be down in the description box down below, as well as the comment thread, so you can quickly jump to each pile. And that's pretty much it. All right, see you guys in just a sec. Thanks. Okay, pile number 1, you guys selected the rose quartz, which of course is a beautiful stone connected with the heart chakra, which has a lot to do with not only our love energy and our heart-based energy, but also our emotional stability as well. And I have a feeling that this, I just had a feeling that like there was this Sun-Neptune opposition that we just went through. It's over now, but it's not an easy opposition. Virgo season has been tough the past few years because of this Sun-Neptune opposition that happens during Virgo season with Neptune over in Pisces there. And it really can pull us into a weird place, like a really, really, really weird place. Not to mention Jupiter going direct. We're preparing for Saturn and Pluto to go direct near the end of the month and beginning of October. We have Mars retrograde, and there's just like weird, it's just weird. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just weird. And clearly there's an intensity building up. And the thing that you have to remember, pile 1, is to give yourself a break. Just chill out with the self-criticism. I think you're hitting some of the harsher aspects of the Virgo season, which is, very self-critical, because Virgo is, of course, the sign of self-mastery. Houses 1 through 6, or zodiac signs 1 through 6, really have a lot to do with the development of self. Number 6, the last one, is where we sort of package everything together. And so we can hold ourselves up to just such extraordinarily high standards, which there's nothing wrong with that, unless it's putting you into a pit of despair. Then obviously, maybe come back off that ledge a little bit. And I'm wondering if there's a little bit of a fear of self-expression coming out, a fear of standing up or being seen, a fear of saying the wrong things, doing the wrong things, and impacting other people in a negative way as a consequence of your choices. And I really, really am feeling you guys holding yourself back. And maybe you need a breather, and that's fine. If you've been pushing pretty hard the past few weeks and now you're like, okay, let me just, do a little bit of an ebb because I've been in a pretty good flow. Now I need to scale it back. That's, of course, perfectly fine. I just don't want it to be fear-based. And I do feel, that maybe you're having a hard time discerning between what is healing versus what is boundaries versus what is consciousness versus what is a healthy ego versus an unhealthy ego. And I think that you're kind of balancing out a lot of different things of self right now. But the easiest thing is to just let go of all the definitions that you're giving things, all the labels that you're slapping on things. Is that question of like, am I just projecting, or is it a real opinion, or is it a real idea? Is it my ego? Is it from my spirit? Is it from my intuition? Or is it my fear? Is it, and so you're trying to like define all this stuff. And maybe having a hard time defining it and therefore not engaging with it at all. Maybe you need to do some things in private, like write in a journal. Vent to someone that you trust. Get it out of your system. Maybe you need to get outdoors a little bit too, if you can, if possible. I know with all the fires and stuff, it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird year. But the Tower is coming through as a reminder that don't worry, you won't be here for long. That there is an end point. There is a moment where this will turn. And I think it will happen quickly. I don't think this is a long drawn out thing. I think this is symptomatic of Sun versus Neptune. I think this is symptomatic of Virgo season. And come Libra season, which in my opinion, Libra, Scorpio seasons, Pisces, Aries seasons are like the most magical seasons of the year where true magic really can be done. And I think you're kind of crossing that threshold at this point as we make our way into Libra season very quickly here next week. Things will feel different, and this sort of stress or this sort of anxiety or however this is manifesting for you will just sort of lift, and then it will just be different. If you're feeling like time could not go any slower, don't worry, you're not alone. That is Mars versus Saturn. And it's a reminder that you can't control everything. But the things that you can control is how you perceive things. And that's just simply where you should start. Name all the things you love. Are you one of them? Well, that's fitting, right? Are you really one of the things that you list when you're grateful? Hopefully the answer is yes. Hopefully you do. And maybe you should make a point to really just appreciate yourself, to appreciate your existence, to appreciate your time being spent here, to appreciate the moment. And hopefully when you're sitting watching this video, maybe you're in bed, maybe you're on the couch, maybe you're sitting in your office or something. Just appreciate the quiet moment. And release. Release your grip. Because I think your grip muscles are getting a little tired with this stuff. Foundation and achievements. Look, we know how hard you've worked. We know what you've started to build. Sometimes during the building process, usually when we're in the middle somewhere, it gets really daunting. It gets boring, it gets tiring, it gets exhaustive. Maybe that's where you're at. Maybe you've hit the middle point of something. And there's that question of, do I continue on? Do I continue to persevere? Or do I continue to the finish? And I love this card because there's this picture of this house. And whenever I see this card, and this is so fitting for all of 2020, because 2020, right, 2 + 2 is 4. So fitting for 2020. When we build a home, right, we have to clear the dirt, we have to dig the hole, we have to lay the foundation, we have to build the framing, and then we work on the interior, right? But like, at what point does it start to look like a house? Right? When you have a foundation and a hole in the ground, which is the most important part, it looks nothing like a house. It's not even close. So just remember that if you're staring at this big hole in the ground with a bunch of cement that looks like nothing like your end goal, just remember that the hard part is the most important part. And I suspect that part is now over and you're starting to frame the home. And then you'll start seeing things take shape. Remember, Libra season, Scorpio season, so magical. And indicative of change and transformation as the leaves start to change colors, as we start to, the weather starts to turn, especially here in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm using Northern Hemisphere stuff. But we have this, this massive changeover of seasons. I guess same thing for Southern Hemisphere as well with the spring equinox there. So, oh, and then we have material harvest. Yeah. Isn't it interesting how there's all these kind of stressful cards here, and yet these cards come out of like, don't worry, make sure that you take time to appreciate yourself. You have a strong foundation and you are about to reap the material rewards. Like, don't worry. See, Neptune Sun opposition often, I feel like it derails us, makes us feel very tired. a little bit confused, makes us feel like we kind of want to give up on our dream, makes us feel like, what's the point? What's all this worth? It can kind of put us in kind of a Debbie Downer kind of vibe. Not every day is always, perky and feeling great. But that's over now, right? It's over now. So we get to kind of get back on track. And this will be a week where you can really do that. Look at you guys, material harvest and prosperity lies ahead. It is an indication that whatever you've been feeling with these swords, this change is coming and there is prosperity, and you will actually hold in your hands. You will actually be able to walk in the house. You will actually be able to have or to own or to see it in your bank account, the things that you have been trying to work towards. That's a guarantee. These cards are pretty much guaranteeing that. Take time to breathe out. Yeah, okay. Disseminating moon. Okay, yeah, take time to breathe out. I think we can all agree, like, okay, yeah. The end of Virgo season, the very last degrees, the last decan, right? The last 10 degrees, which we're not quite there yet. I don't think today. I didn't check the degrees today, but we're just kind of finishing it up. And this is usually the most intense part of any season. So it's like double Virgo stuff. Breathe, relax, check out if you need to, and prepare for the magical Libra season. And we have this beautiful attraction card. Let's put this in the center here. Attraction, Aphrodite, also an indicate, right? Aphrodite, Venus, essentially beauty, money, elegance, grace, fairness, justice, all these beautiful things that Aphrodite truly represents, or Venus represents. And the fact that the word attraction is coming through, and we have an attraction of a material harvest, attraction of achievements, attraction of prosperity. I think this first layer of tarot cards down here with the, last card being the Tower means like things are going to start shifting soon. You're going to really see it happening right before your eyes. You're going to start attracting all the things that you've cast spells for. You're going to start attracting things, all the things that you've been putting energy into, and you're going to start seeing it really come to fruition. Vulnerability. Yeah, I do think this week put us in a pretty severe state of vulnerability for a lot of us, because there's that question of, well, I can work as hard as I do, right? I can work as hard as I do and it still might not work out. That's Sun Neptune talking. Neptune is so elusive, so evasive, so deceptive. He's such a liar, right? I'm not a Neptune fan, if you can't tell. Neptune is one of, for me, like whenever he comes around, I'm like, oh no, because at least with, Pluto and Saturn and Uranus, like we can actually see the stuff changing. It's not all this dark hidden stuff, but Neptune is very, very elusive. So yes, your vulnerability here might make you feel a little bit raw, but that is okay, because I think it's a blip on the radar. And then, we have strength. Beautiful. I know that this camera doesn't always pick up the gold foil. Hopefully you guys can see it. We have this strength energy, which I love because there's kind of like a tree of life quality going down with like roots going down into the ground and then a blossom here. And it is the root system that gives that which is visible strength. You have the strength. You may have been feeling a little bit vulnerable. Maybe there was a little bit of a breeze that came and sort of, pushed you to one side or whatever, but you have the strength that you need. That was the whole point of the past few years. You have the strength, you have the courage, you have the know-how, the talent, the skills, the consciousness, the awareness to handle this and to allow it to pass. You have the strength to take time to breathe out. Weird that it does take strength for this, right? Weird that it does. Adventures. I don't know. Maybe the Tower is the indication of a new adventure. This whole process has been an adventure. Maybe you've had an adventure of learning how to attract things, really acquainting yourself with the creative aspect of life itself, acquainting yourself with the power of what it is to be a human being, acquainting yourself with your own magician energy. I know we didn't get the magician out here, but we did get the King of Cups, and he's a pretty good magician himself. Oh, this is weird. Trust the niggle. It's not even a word, right? What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Is niggle a word? I don't even know if that's a word. It's like that intuitive tickle, if you will, that intuitive. Now, I'm wondering if you've been having a hard time discerning what your intuition is really saying. That's why you need to take time to breathe out. I suspect your intuition is telling you to just chill, just to relax more than anything, to not try to control it, to not try to desperately, manipulate an outcome, to try to desperately manipulate a certain situation to occur or whatever it is. There's so much power in barely wanting something. And I feel like if you can tap into that barely wanting and the appreciation of the here and now, you're golden. And the tower will occur. Tower is an inevitability for sure. The change, of course, will occur. And when it does, that is when prosperity, material harvest, attraction, adventure, all these kinds of wonderful things will actually start to really take place. So don't worry if this week was weird. It's okay. And next week, as we enter into Libra season, things will really start to, they'll get tackled. Don't worry. Okay? All right, pile number 1. I'm going to leave you with that. Hope you have a good week. Just keep your eye on the end game here. All right? Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 2. You guys selected the beautiful Selenite. Let's go ahead and see what these cards have to say. Okay. I feel like you're trying to run away from something. With all these knights coming out. What are you protecting? I feel like you're I think this is you guys. I feel like you're a little uncatchable right now. Like people having a hard time getting a hold of you, people having a hard time giving you stuff, telling you stuff. I just think you're kind of on your own track, which I actually really like, if I'm being honest. It's kind of refreshing. You're just really following your gut. And I think there might be some people out there who have a lot of opinions, who have a lot of ideas about and I just don't think you're willing to listen, and not in a bad way, not in an arrogant or a stubborn way, but in I have to follow my heart kind of way. And I think you're pretty self-determined, right? To do it on your own. That self-reliance really kicking in and saying, this is Mars, right? I can do it myself. That's my Mars motto. I can do it myself. I don't need you. I don't need your money. I don't need your input. I don't need your advice. I can do it myself. I'm not saying it will always be like that, because we never truly accomplish anything alone. There's always people involved. But for right now, you might be just kind of running wild. And maybe it feels really, really, really good. Maybe what you're really doing is detaching from a lot of dependency on things. For some reason, it's so weird when the Knight of Coins comes up reversed with the Five of Coins. Whenever these two cards come out in a reading like this, to me, it's just like, it doesn't even matter what they're offering you, because it comes up really short anyway. Like there's really nothing to the offer. So if someone is trying to offer you something, it's sometimes it can come through as like a job offer or offer for assistance or advice or whatever, but I feel like it's empty. There's something empty about it. There's something not quite good enough about it. I don't know what that is or how that's going to manifest for you, but it's just like, who cares? And a lot of the advice and the ideas and a lot of the offerings that you might be getting this week and in the weeks to come might merely be the person who's offering their own projection of their own shortcomings. And you're like, don't touch me with that nonsense. Like, please do not taint my energy with your negative Debbie Downer vibes. I get this sense that you are doing everything you can to protect your energy field. And even like the Knight of Wands, why am I feeling kind of a negative vibe from these? I honestly don't even know. I'm seeing this protective barrier here, and it's like everything on the other side of this is needing to stay out, right? And you might accept like little text messages or, social media contacts or something like that. But I don't even think you have time or the energy for like an in-person kind of meeting. You're just like, you know what? I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that is it. I don't have time to sit down. I don't have time to talk. If you want to shoot me your ideas via email, fine. But, I got a million other things going on. My mind is somewhere else. I'm working on this thing. I'm trying to write this book. I'm trying to get this done. I'm trying to do this and this and this. And, I'm trying to make something happen. And I just don't have time for this kind of nonsense. And a lot of times maybe this Knight of Wands, might even be coming through as someone who wants to hitch their cart to your wagon and, just hitch a ride. And I just don't think you're about that at all. You're not about people swooping in and taking advantage of you, about people swooping in and riding your coattails only to abandon you later. And I think your little spidey senses, right? Your little intuitive pings that you've got going on, they're just not about it. And so you run in the other direction, which I think rightfully so. I don't think this is running away. I think this is protection. Nine of Wands. You got to do what you got to do. And this is not a week to make excuses. It's not a week to have to justify yourself to people. This is a week of just following your heart and doing what you know you need to do, period. That's it. What if it isn't true? The thing you are telling yourself right now, the concrete reasons why you think you don't belong, you can't do it, you won't get there, you're not enough, or it's not for you. What if it wasn't true? Actually, I don't really see you guys having a hard time with that, because I think you've already made peace with this. Made peace with all the reasons why it can't and all the reasons why it won't. Like maybe in the past you relied so heavily on these people's opinions and ideas and even their money maybe for some of you. But you know what? This is you. This is a story of you setting yourself free and being like, I'm like, peace out. I don't want this. I don't want what you have to give me right now. Because what I see in this Knight of Swords is a determination and a belief. A belief that it can be, and that it will be. And when a Knight of Swords makes up his mind that it will be, he's unstoppable. And he's the one running the fastest. Like these guys can't keep up. They can't and they won't. And I think these are the energies that are keeping your self-belief subdued. And I see you releasing yourself from that entirely. Transformation, yeah. That's a word that kind of gets old sometimes, but it's important for us to remember that we're always going through these, right? We're always changing, we're always evolving, and one step at a time. And I think for you this week, the step is protecting your energy. Keeping your mind pure, keeping it pure from negative thoughts and negative vibes, keeping it pure from complacency. It's possible that you might see a side of yourself this week that you honestly didn't even really know existed. Because what I see with this Knight of Swords is kind of like a do not mess with me type of like energy communication. Like, do not mess with me. These people might actually stay out of it themselves, because my guess is that they'll probably pick up on something of like, oh, wow, this is someone not to trifle with this week. You don't want to mess with them. You don't want to pull their strings. You don't want to, tease them in any way. Like, let's just get out of the way. Heart chakra, yeah. You are being led with the heart, actually. Knight of Swords, always led with the heart. When he's such a weird card for me, because he always, It's so dependent on what comes on around him. Sometimes I really don't like him, and other times I love him. This is a reading where I love the Knight of Swords, because he seems to be the only one who's actually doing what they want, living the kind of life that he wants to design for himself, completely free of others' expectations and society's indoctrination ideas, like this is you breaking free from a lot of stuff. And when your heart chakra is open like this, transformation can happen more freely, and therefore it won't be painful, right? Sometimes we can just change and it doesn't have to be a whole big thing, right? Sometimes we can just change and it doesn't hurt you and it doesn't hurt the other people, and it just happens, and it's welcome, and you're ready, and you're happy for it. And I think that's what's going on here. Just change. Emotions are running high. Yeah, I bet with that Knight of Swords. I bet they're running high. It's emotionally charged stuff for that. You always say, people, don't take it so personally, don't take it so personally. But the Knight of Swords is like, heck yes, I'm going to take it personally. Like, this is my life. This is my life. And there's a seriousness, but a playfulness and an adventurousness about the Knight of Swords this week. Emotions are running high in a good way with the heart chakra. Kind of a let's do this. I believe in me and I don't need anyone else's belief. I'm also kind of feeling with that Page of Cups, for some reason, I'm feeling a delay with him. Like meetings can be postponed, appointments can be postponed, emails can be responded to next week, so whatever you need to push back, just push it back. There's nothing really that important except for maybe a few top priority things. But other than that, just push everything back, right? I'm just kind of feeling that energy. Hold your vision. Yeah. Well, the one thing a Knight of Swords can do is hold his vision. He's freaking full on in that direction. He doesn't easily let go. So I don't think that's really a threat. It's just a reminder to keep things headed in one direction. I don't see erratic stuff coming from the Knight of Swords. In fact, these particular individuals or situations or circumstances, the Knight of Coins, Knight of Wands, they could be shiny objects that could potentially distract you, but because you know that they're kind of empty, Five of Coins, it's not really a distraction anyway. I think you've gotten really, really good at discerning between what is real and what is not real, which is good. Athena, protectress. Okay, well, we use that word protection with that Nine of Wands here, and yeah, here she is, the goddess of protection. So there's going to be a wall, and I love the owl with her as well, right? The wise owl. There is going to be an energetic, otherworldly, spiritual boundary that will be set. I don't know that this is an active barrier that you necessarily need to man and reinforce. It's just something that's happening by you deciding what you care about and what you don't. When you decide what you care about, hold your vision, heart chakra, with strong emotions backing it, then the separation, the protection will happen organically. You're teaching people how to approach you, teaching people how to treat you, how to speak to you, teaching people how to respect your time. Nothing wrong with that. Unfoldment, lotus flower, beautiful. I always say that life is sort of like an infinitely blossoming rose. That's what I always say. And the word unfoldment is very similar to that, just watching things unfold. When you take an action, things will change. And then you take another action, and then they'll change again. This is the physical or the action component of manifestation, right? This is the doing part of achieving your goal, if we can use a more basic language, right? And you're just doing it. That's it. You're doing it. So there's no question as to whether or not you're going to get what you're working for. There's no question as to whether or not it's going to manifest, because it absolutely will. And I think that your faith in that, with this card, with the emotions running high, that the faith in the actual having is like a given. And therefore, you're not even worried about it. Right now, you seem to be more focused on the path and the journey than the actual destination, which was, in essence, the overarching theme for the September readings anyway. Ooh, the wildling. I love that with the two swords, with this. Can we just he is a little bit wild, right? He's got fire in his eyes, fire in his heart, and you're just cutting yourself loose, man. I don't know what to say. It's exciting. It's exciting when people can actually do that, when they stop holding themselves hostage because of dumb reasons, fears and whatnot. And I do see you cutting loose. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for other people, but who cares, right? That's not your problem. Wonders. Oh, beautiful. I'm seeing little miracles coming through with that. That little miracles will start showing up in your life. And the only thing you can really do is just sit in awe. Awe. That's such a beautiful word, right? AWE. Just to sit in awe of how intelligent the universe actually is. How intelligent the field or spirit or the creator actually is. And how simple it actually was. Maybe that's the question, right? What if it isn't true? What if it's not hard? What if it's not complicated? What if it's not a big deal? I don't see anything complicated about what you're doing right now. Everything is simple. Everything is straightforward, and everything makes sense. The age of light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. Well, ain't that the truth? I think you have been. You have been training for this for a lifetime, which is why it's not complicated. You seem to be on autopilot. You kind of just already know what to do. You know how this works. Now's the time to just just keep going, I guess. Just keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep following this instinct that has guided you so perfectly to where you are. Okay? Really beautiful reading, guys. I'm going to leave you with that. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 3. You guys selected the green aura quartz here. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, 3 of Cups reversed. 5 of Cups. Ace of Coins. Kind of weird energy. I feel like you're disassociating from some people. Maybe cutting off some friendship ties, maybe ending certain associations with people who are not super healthy for you. I feel like this is you all the way down here, and these are like your friends, and there's 3 cups spilled here, 3 cups upside down here, 2 cups upright, 2 cups here. So I feel like there's kind of a change or a turnover or kind of a narrowing of your energy, being a lot more specific with those you choose to associate with. And the thing is that I don't think you're choosing to associate with people that keep your beliefs intact. I think what's happening is you are associating with people that actually challenge you to grow and think differently. And I think you're getting tired of keeping things the same. And I feel a beautiful compassion coming from the 5 of Cups with the Queen of Cups. I feel a quality of understanding understanding why people are the way they are, why they have done or are doing what they have done or are doing. And there just seems to be a full and absolute acceptance of those things without judgment. You understand who they are and why they came to be who they are. I see no anger, no bitterness. I just feel a calm release. There will be a little bit of turbulence, though, as you try to disassociate. 7 of Wands, Temperance reversed. It's not necessarily going to be smooth, and you are going to need to defend your decision to make the change. I think maybe more defend it to yourself. Because the lure of coming back, the lure of going back, may be very attractive. The Queen of Cups is not necessarily one who has to be consciously strong, She's not one that has to be like, okay, I'm going to have courage today, She just follows her heart. And if people get angry about it, then she's okay with that. Because she knows that what's best for her is ultimately the best for all involved. And she takes her role seriously of being a nurturing figure, right? This is the mother archetype, right? It's the Cancerian archetype. We even have children here on the throne. There's a quality of leadership here, leadership for generations to come, leadership for the higher level consciousness to bring to the world. So she takes her light seriously. And she knows that the best way to lead is by example. So her courage is more found in following her heart quietly. It's found in following her truth quietly and non-judgmentally. There's no judgment here. Just a separation of higher vibrational energy versus lower vibrational energy. That is all. And because this occurs, of course, naturally, right? If you make a move, the universe evolves around that move, around that choice that you've made, and it opens up opportunities. New people, new places, new things. I think it's actually quite simple. I think there's a simple decision in front of you because you already made up your mind. Your heart has already made itself up, right? Your heart mind has already made itself up. It's just a matter of taking the action now. Who am I ready to forgive? Okay. I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become. Carl Jung. Is it time to let go, forgive, and move onward? Is your soul ready to forgive someone else or yourself? Forgiveness brings sweet release, freedom, and insight. Look at it from their shoes. Notice how you grew and what you learned. Who do you want to become, and how is this resistance holding you from what your soul wants? Well, there you go. That's the 5 of Cups right there. Forgiveness, compassion, forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, letting go, and holding absolutely no grudge at all. I feel that this is a cutting ties from karma, becoming more and more karma free, if you will. And you're being called to make that separate, because I look at this card and I'm getting kind of a dank feeling from it, of just kind of, it's sort of indulgent. Now, a lot of times we associate this with physical substances, but it doesn't have to be. It can be indulgent in a vibration. And there's a lot of that going on in the political sphere, but I feel that this could really be anything, people who can't, stop talking about their ex-boyfriends, or people who can't stop talking about the negativity going on at their office, or, the drama people, whatever it is. And I just see you being like, oh my gosh, like I just can't anymore. I just can't. And maybe for some of you, this is just turning off the TV, like maybe it's not even friends. Maybe you've already done the friend work and now it's more about, cutting off the world even a little bit more. Partnerships in a lot. Okay, so there is definitely a connection with someone coming through here. Maybe giving one up and adding a new one, sort of letting go of this one and reaching and grabbing a higher one to help you pull you up even higher. I think the thing with the Three of Cups is these are not necessarily people who want to hear new truths. They're so busy indulging in the cover-up emotions, like when people are so mad that their boyfriend did something, but really that anger is stemmed from a fear or a sadness, from some trauma, right? They're not really going deep enough. And these are people who don't really want to, or who are not ready consciously. So it's not as though you're just leaving people out to dry, but rather, living in your truth more than anything. And you're on a path of growth. Not everybody is. And people who are on a path of growth are happy to assist others who are also on a path of growth. So this is not a negative alliance in any way, shape, or form. This is a positive one of reinforcement. And shadow, okay? Definitely shadow work going on here. But I think you've done a lot of shadow work. So it's not as though this is going to be hard or dark or difficult, but more so when you see your shadow reflected through other people and other circumstances and other situations, you recognize it like that. Similar to when you walk in front of a mirror, like that reflection is you. And sometimes when you don't like, your hair's messed up or whatever, you're like, okay, well, let me fix my hair, right? So you use the mirror to help you fix your hair. You use the mirror to help you reassociate. This is exactly a reflection image here. It's not a denial of the shadow, because we know that that's ridiculous. We can't deny the shadow, but we can use it to create and establish higher levels of balance and grace and compassion in our lives. Nothing will come of this situation. Avoid, of course, moon, okay? So yeah, like there's no point in helping people that don't want to be helped. There's no point in trying to convince people of something who are so convinced of the other thing that their mind is completely closed. Right? There's no point. Okay, well, so nothing will come of this situation, some kind of an end, and then a new start is coming. So, well, there you go. That's what you've got. You're just starting just a new beginning. And the thing that I love about this week is that these new beginnings, quote unquote, they're not hard. They're not painful. They're not gut-wrenching. They're not super destructive. I mean, maybe for some people it is, but for most people it's not. It's just a change. I said the same thing with pile 2. It's just a change that happens, and no one gets hurt, and no one is affected in a negative way. It's just a change that needs to happen, and you invite it into your life, and it just happens. And that's it. And it's not some big, overly dramatic thing. And I think that's what this sort of change is about right now. That's how change is coming through into our lives. Iris, messages. And I think that goes hand in hand with the Ace of Coins as well. The universe is sending you messages, likely through other people, through conversations. I don't necessarily know that, like, once you start seeing synchronicities in your life, you start realizing that all of life is a synchronicity. Everything that happens, every conversation, every reaction, everything, it's all connected to something else. And when you start having trust in the infinitely connected web of life itself, that is when your faith gets more and more reinforced. So I think this is a story of a lot of things going on. Not only are you changing, your course a little bit, not only are you letting go and forgiving and opening new doors, but you're also changing, you're beginning something, and you are reinforcing your faith. All these things happening simultaneously. Passion, I love that. Fire. Nothing wrong with passion. I think your passion, one of your passions, not your only one, but one of your passions is self-knowledge. Those of you who are here watching tarot and astrology and spiritual and psychology videos and stuff, your passion is growth, evolution, change. And so I think you embrace this process wholeheartedly in a way that not many people can or will. And that is what separates you. Ooh, destruction. I know that this card has like foil. Sometimes you can't really see it on the camera, but destruction. Nothing will come of this situation, and destruction. Okay, something needs to come down. Fine. No big thing, no big deal. It just comes down. And okay, well, release right on top of nothing will come of this situation. Release. Just let go. Just let go. This is not too complicated. It doesn't require a lot of thought, because I think it's just what needs to be done. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution and expression. Sometimes you have to say the words, You have to do the actions. Either way, you have to express yourself in some way. This is not a week for just sitting and letting it be for pile 3. It's not letting it unfold. There does need to be some kind of a trigger. You need to do the thing. Your voice right now is important. Your energy right now is important. And it does need to be protected. And your new start is worth protecting as well. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. I love you, and I'm super grateful for all of you. I wish you nothing but the best this week, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.